Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the Word. And today that word is lasting. Lasting. Now, yesterday we were talking about, longing after really alcohol and longing after those material things and those physical things that don't last. But today, thinking about lasting and what does last. And as the writer of Proverbs says here today in Proverbs chapter 24, he gives us an analogy for what it's like to grab a hold of something that will last. And he makes the analogy here with food. It's funny, we go from drink yesterday to food today. So, Proverbs chapter 24, looking at verses 13 and 14, says, "My son, eat honey because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to your taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be to your soul. If you have found it, there's a prospect, and your hope will not be cut off." In other words, what he's saying is, look, you need to long after wisdom. And when you long after that, it is sweet. He said, oh, it's just as sweet and as satisfying as honey is. Now, somebody may be saying, well, I don't really like honey. Well, I mean, you think about at the time this was written, it's not like they could really go to the local Walmart or Food Line or little convenience store, Dollar General, whatever you have, to just say, pick up the latest sweets. I mean, you think about to find some honey and to think about how sweet that would be and how much of a contrast it may would be to what you were normally used to. And just something you didn't have to work as hard for, but just, man, the beautiful honey and how good it tasted. I mean, just to think about, the promised land, the land of milk and honey. I mean, just to think about how much it satisfies. But then what he's saying is, as sweet as it is to grab a hold of wisdom, right? When all this in Proverbs talking about the fact that when you grab a hold of wisdom and you grow in that wisdom and knowledge and understanding and applying what you've learned and letting life teach you those lessons and learning from the lessons of others, all these things that we've been talking about, he says, when you grab a hold of it, it's as sweet as honey. But now here's the other thing. Have you ever noticed how long wisdom lasts? Right. And now I'm not saying that we don't forget things and we don't fall back into kind of a slump and we make the same mistakes again. And you say, oh, well, I was wise, but then became foolish. No, you may have made a foolish decision at the time, but we're a lot quicker to kind of rebound from it because of that wisdom. See, all the other things that we talk about, the material things and even alcohol yesterday and drugs and all the material things, they don't satisfy and they don't last. It's funny how, a lot of people will talk about how appliances, I mean, you think about it. I remember, growing up for years. And I mean, it wasn't even until just a few years ago that my parents had to get a new refrigerator, but they'd had the same one for, I mean, like 20, 30 years plus. And to think about, wow, I guess it was much more than 30 years, I believe that refrigerator was. And now you get one and it may only last you 3 years or 5 years. It just things don't last like they used to. But wisdom will last, right? Because when we have biblical wisdom, when we have godly wisdom, this is why when it's implanted and we get in the word and we learn and even doing something as simple as what we're doing now, talking about the word and thinking about it and letting it kind of penetrate our hearts, that now you remember going forward, those moments that the Spirit will remind us what God's word has already told us. When the Spirit will bring back to your remembrance those things that the Lord has spoken. That's why wisdom lasts. Because when we learn things in the Lord, right, we know that wisdom lasts in our regular world, right, in the physical world, at our jobs, and dealing with our families and friends, and even among the church. We know that wisdom lasts. But think about how much more godly wisdom will last. And that's even sweeter than honey. And it's going to last a lot longer than honey. It's going to last a lot longer than any food. It's going to last a lot longer than anything else you thought has ever satisfied. Because when you grow in the Lord, that's something that lasts. So why are we wasting so much time on the things that are temporary, the things that fall apart almost as soon as you let go of them? Today, choose. I'll even use yesterday's word as well. Today, let's long after something that will last. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.